The police are going in and basically going for the parents, the normal people. They're leaving Rent-A-Mob alone. At some point, there's going to be an incident, and I think it will be a police weapon going off. What's racist is keep bringing in people against our will to change our culture without our consent.
If I don't fight for my country and for my wife and my children, then am I a man any longer? Hi everybody, and welcome back to Nick Talks. This episode's amazing guest and returning guest is the Silver Fox from Silver Fox Hot Takes. How you doing, Foxy?
Hi, Nick. Yeah, very well. Thank you very much. Hope everyone watching is okay as well.
They may be, but is it going to stay that way, Foxy? This is my real worry. I've spent the last 6 months here talking about civil war in the UK. And to begin with, people thought I may have been a bit crazy, but we've even got Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister of the country, came out yesterday and said she's worried about mass violence across the UK this summer because of mass migration. All it's going to take is one more nutcase stabbing some kids, raping some women, and with a powder keg at the moment, we're ready to explode. It takes one spark. We've seen what's been happening at the migrant hotels in Epping, in Diss, and in London Central yesterday. We're a powder keg. Do you think we're a powder keg, or am I just exaggerating?
No, you're bang on. The pressure has been building probably for several years now, and there's been incidents. And I think really what's happened is, I think it's since Southport, people have become incredibly aware. And I think it's the likes of you and me, and Preston, Craig, Andy, Paz, all the other sort of YouTubers who look at sort of politics and current events. Because while the government can try and spin and cover up and hide everything that's going on, we're not subjected to that. We go out and we give opinions and we can say what's going on. And they don't like it. But of course, it means that the information is getting out there and people are becoming increasingly aware of what's going on in the country in general, but in their area as well, in particular. And it is a tinderbox. And it, as you say, takes one single spark and boom. But it isn't helped, of course, by the likes of Essex Police shipping in troublemakers to deliberately confront the members of the public that were righteous in their indignation about what's going on. A girl was attacked sexually. They were on there. They went there. They aren't far right. They aren't thugs. They're parents concerned about the safety of their children. But the police can't handle peaceable demonstration. And so the police shipped in these Rent-A-Mob, lefty Rent-A-Mobs, all covering their faces, of course. The police shipped them in. And then when it all kicks off, the police are going in and basically going for the parents, the normal people. They're leaving Rent-A-Mob alone.
Let me just jump in there for a moment on shipping them in, because that's a phrase. But you actually mean that. There's videos online of police carriers, so minibuses for the police, with all the far left lunatics being driven into the area in police marked vehicles.
Driven straight down to that hotel.
So this isn't an exaggeration on your part saying this got shipped in. No, this is exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And what's worse is that you then get the chief constable of Essex Police saying, oh, no, that didn't happen. And then, really? Here's the video. And they show him the video of it, and you see his face, and he's like, oh, it did happen then. And he's had to sort of reverse ferret on that and then issue this big apology and, oh, well, we have to maintain the law. Maintain the law. You're the ones inciting the violence by shipping in these protesters. And rather than keeping them well apart, okay, they're all come down there at the train station, we'll keep them over there well away. They go, no, we want the confrontation. And then when they get the confrontation, they go in and they shout, oh, it's far left. Oh, sorry, it's the far right. Look at them, far right thugs. No, it isn't. And I'm going to tell you now, Nick, at some point, be it tomorrow, be it a month, be it a year, at some point, there's going to be an incident, and I think it will be a police weapon going off. And the moment that happens, civil war. You will have civil war at that moment because you're going to have a policeman shooting dead someone protesting against the illegal immigrants coming here and raping children, and boom, and that'll be the spark. If it isn't before that, it will probably be that. But there's so many things, and as you say, there's incidents with these people every day doing something. Now, I'm not saying that everyone who comes across on a boat is like that, but enough of them are, because we keep seeing the reports, we keep seeing them being arrested, we keep seeing them being charged, and it can only be contained so much, and then boom. And when it goes boom, it's gonna be massive. But the politicians are gonna say, "Oh, you're all racists." No, we're not. What's racist is keep bringing in people against our will to change our culture without our consent. That's the racism.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I don't think the government's playbook will work any longer. It worked a little bit at Southport. They're all racist, far-right thugs. This is organised, even though the police now have admitted there's no evidence that any of it was organised and outside agitators came in. That was all false. So being called racist, fascist, whatever they call us, that doesn't work anymore. And Southport and Ballymena, to a certain extent, have been dry runs of what's to come. And people have learnt to wear masks, not to tweet silly things on their personal social media because they'll come down hard on you. And I'm speaking to people on a daily basis who are waiting for violence. And it's very, very shocking. Some of these people I'm speaking to, I never thought they would say things like that. And when I ask them, why are you saying you want violence? Their answers are nearly all the same. And the answer is, I'm sick of it. I feel like a coward. I see my country dying and there's nothing we can do about it. We've tried voting. It doesn't work. No one's listening to us. If I don't fight for my country and for my wife and my children, then am I a man any longer? And I think to put that in a nutshell, they're basically saying they would rather die on the feet than live on the knees. And there's hundreds of thousands of men across the country who feel like this. And the next spark, I didn't think about a police killing someone, but yeah, that would be a huge spark. But it's more likely to have a migrant going a bit rapey again, raping more children, stabbing someone, blowing someone up. That's more likely. But anything like that, and it's not going to be at that place. It's going to be across all the towns and cities when it explodes. And I don't know how the government deal with it. Keir Starmer came out the other day saying he's putting in new legislation because some of this is being instigated by our enemies, Russia and stuff like that. He's trying to create a new narrative to take the blame away from him because he's going to blame foreign interference in the riots. And it isn't that. It's him. And it's the last 10 prime ministers of this country have all been culpable and have got us to this stage.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I mean, they all go, "Oh, we don't want this, we don't want that. We've got to be peace. We've all got to live together." Well, I'm minded to think of Robert Heinlein, the writer. He wrote Starship Troopers, and there's a wonderful, great film, but the book as well is there. But there's a wonderful quote in that, and he says that violence and naked force has solved and settled more problems in history than any other factor. He says, and for all those people who think otherwise, they're just naive. And ultimately, I see that that's going to happen. I see a civil war in this country, and it's a civil war caused by politicians because they always are. No normal person, no normie like you or me has ever gone to war. No one like us has ever started a war. No one like us has ever instigated a war. It's always been politicians. And they are the ones that are going to start this one. And when this one kicks off, we won't have any third columnists. The trouble is, when it does kick off, it's going to be, how can I put this in a way? it will be perceived that anyone who is not white will be seen as the enemy. And that is where the danger is, because, it isn't all the immigrants to this country. Some of the immigrants come to this country and they work hard. They build a life. They integrate. They pay their taxes. They open up their own businesses. They employ people, and nobody's got a problem with that. If they're working, they're not a drain on the society. But when you're getting these that come over that hate us, loathe us, that just go want, have no intention of integrating, that's where it's going to be. And when people go after them, I'm afraid others are going to get caught up in it, and others who don't deserve this. But we know that anything like this, there's always casualties outside of what it's meant to be. What do they call it? Collateral damage. And I'm afraid that there's going to be, if it does kick off, there's going to be people caught up and hurt, or worse, and entirely not their fault, and shouldn't be like that. But if it does, it's not the people of this country, it's the politicians. And it's not Labour. I mean, it is Labour, but I mean, it's not just Labour. We saw last week the revelation of the nearly 30,000 Afghans, £7 billion, and they put a double super injunction on it. So not only could you not talk about it, you couldn't even talk about the fact that you couldn't talk about it, because they were so ashamed of it that they knew that if people knew, there'd be riots on the streets. Well, now we know. And what's telling is what Keir Starmer said, that this is, I can't remember the exact terminology, but it was something like, this was the biggest and longest of the injunctions in place by the government, which indicates there's more.
Yeah.
There's more injunctions. So what the hell aren't they telling us if they're prepared to tell us about this? How bad is it for the other injunctions that they'll release this one and not those? They're shitting themselves. Pardon my language, but there's no other word for it. They are absolutely shitting themselves, because they know if that was released, there'd be riots on the street, pitchforks and burning torches at the gates of number 10. And I tell you, it's going to happen. The way it's going, people have just more than had enough. But what will kick it off? I think it'll be the police that kick it off. I really do. I think it's something done, because the police are no longer an independent force designed to keep peace. They have become political troops in a class war.
Yeah. And no one respects the police anymore. There's a certain amount of people who
completely not. I completely loathe them now.
Yeah. I have no respect for the police anymore. Now I see them as the enemy, and I've trained police officers. I was based in police stations for years. If someone like me now is anti-police, that's how far they've fallen. But then looking at the violence, I predict this. Whatever kicks it off, the second we have violence, I don't mean riots. I mean killings. I mean firebombs going in full mosques, bombs going off in churches, people on the street corners being shot by drive-bys because they're on the wrong corner. When that sort of stuff happens, and it's going to split along racial, ethnic, and maybe political lines, but definitely ethnic lines, the second that happens, everybody will retreat into their ethnic group, because we're tribal creatures, and that's how you survive.
Yeah, you've got it there, Nick. Sorry, I'll just interrupt there. I'm just going to say, what you're going to get is balkanization. Britain will become like the Balkans, and it'll be us, them, us, them, all over Britain. There'll be no-go zones. There's already no-go zones. You're a Manchester guy. You know there's no-go zones in Manchester. The police just won't go there. It'll happen a lot more. And once that happens, then we've lost this country.
Yeah. And then we're going to start getting the tit-for-tat killings. So it'll be reported that a 70-year-old Muslim woman has just been beaten up, had a hijab ripped off and has been beat up. Next day, some Muslim men will go out and shoot a 15-year-old girl in the head as revenge. Some more people will go out and firebomb a mosque, and it'll go bang, 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 bang. And next thing, it'll be like Armageddon. It'll be like Mad Max. It doesn't take much to push people over the edge. And we've seen it in Nazi Germany. We've seen it in Rwanda. We've seen it in Yugoslavia. We're no better than those people. We're not a different breed of them. We are.
We've got a sheen of civilization, but that's all it is. It's a gloss on top. Underneath, peel away the gloss. We're just animalistic human beings who want to look after our own.
Yep. And that's exactly what apes do. Chimpanzees will patrol their area in groups and rip to death other chimpanzees they find because they're tribal. And we're just hairless chimpanzees. That's all we are.
Yeah, just fat chimpanzees. Yeah.
Yep. With less hair.
Unfortunately. God, I used to have lots of hair. God. And all of a sudden, oh, God.
And just for people watching this, I want people to understand that I'm not promoting this violence. What I'm doing is predicting it. Predicting something's going to happen isn't the same as campaigning for it to happen.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's the last thing we want. We don't want this. But the fact is, you and I, and others, many of us, we look at where we are, we look at what's happening, and you can see the future. You don't need to be, looking at the entrails of a goat here or reading your tea leaves. You just use the experience of life, what you've seen in other places, and what you see around you now, and you're going, it's not looking good.
Yeah, it's scary. As a kid who was brought up on a violent criminal council estate in South Manchester, I have an ability to be able to sense violence. I can walk into a pub and I know before it kicks off, it's going to kick off. I naturally read body language. I can pick up senses in the air. And I know now this country is about to explode. What sets it off, we don't know, but it's going to explode. Foxy, thanks so much for coming on and discussing this extremely serious and depressing topic. But if we're going to stop it, we need to talk about it. And politicians need to understand what they're enacting through their incompetence and through lack of a backbone of dealing with the problems we demand they deal with. Because if they don't deal with them, other people with darker hearts will deal with them.
One of the problems the politicians have is they don't want us talking about it.
Yeah.
But as you said, we don't talk about it, it won't change. We have to discuss it. Difficult, I know. Upsetting, maybe for some people. Offensive to some people. It doesn't matter. If we stop talking, we're done. But it's been a pleasure talking to you.
And you, Foxy. I'll catch you again soon.
Thank you. Take care. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.